Now at 9, Family Weekend turned into a busy weekend for Ball State Police as 2 incidents on campus leave people with pressing questions. We're live with the latest.
Plus, a ribbon cutting for an education center at Prairie Creek Reservoir, what the exhibit means to the Muncie community.
And the Old Washington Street Festival took place this weekend. We have a recap of that event and more.
And we were definitely seeing those fall-like temperatures here this weekend, but we are going to be seeing a return to the 80s. I'll have all that and more in my full forecast.
Delaware County's only live television newscast from Ball State University's Unified Media Newsroom. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Sophie Schick.
And I'm Sawyer Osman.
We begin tonight with updates on the incidents that happened on campus this weekend, both in residence halls. A gun went off in a dorm room Saturday and aggravated assault in another residence hall.
NewsLink Indiana's Anna Chalker joins live at Studebaker West with those updates and students' reactions. Anna?
Sophie and Sawyer, that aggravated assault happened last night. I will have more on that here in a few. But first, the main incident many are talking about is that ongoing investigation into that gun going off into a dorm room in Studebaker West here behind me. And with both of these incidents, students received email alerts, but many of them are saying that they needed more than that alert to feel safe this weekend.
It was surprising, but also you just kind of hope it doesn't happen again.
That's how senior Milo Vogt felt after a gun went off in Studebaker West Saturday evening.
I think as the years have gone on from when I've been here, it's gradually seemed to have gotten more intense.
A public safety alert was sent to students stating there was no threat to campus. This came nearly half an hour after the incident happened.
I feel like if there had been a way to get that information out faster, then that would have been appreciated.
According to a statement from the university to NewsLink Indiana about why the alert was sent later in the night, it reads in part, alerts are issued to students based on circumstances. UPD quickly assessed the incident on Saturday and determined it did not meet the criteria. The university issued a BSU Inform email to notify students that an investigation was ongoing, but there was no threat to campus. But many students got information from RAs before the alert came out.
They told us not to go outside, and until I heard that they handled the situation, I didn't go outside.
Now, a person has been arrested in connection to that aggravated assault, and they are not a Ball State student. And the university wants everyone to know that there's no threat to campus right now from either of these incidents. And if you think that there is an emergency in your dorm room or in your residence hall, the university encourages you to call UPD or call your hall staff. But if you're not in a residence hall and you happen to be on campus, you can go to one of these emergency blue lights. You can just hit this red button here. It'll call UPD and send you to your exact location. Now, we're still working to get more information on both of these incidents. And when we do, we will continue to update you both on air and online at ballstatedaily.com. Live on campus, Anna Chalker, NewsLink, Indiana.
Thank you, Anna. A complaint filed Monday alleges that Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita violated professional conduct rules in statements he made about a doctor who performed an abortion on a 10-year-old rape victim last year.
The Indiana Supreme Court's Disciplinary Commission alleges Rokita violated confidentiality requirements. Bernard, an Indianapolis obstetrician gynecologist who performed the abortion, later filed a claim against Rokita, accusing him of making false statements. The Cook Family Education Center at Prairie Creek Reservoir has opened. The former office has been converted into a free natural history museum thanks to grants and community donations. The center features interactive exhibits and a Muncie history timeline, offering an educational experience in the Muncie community and is open to all.
Prairie Creek is a resource that this administration has really focused on. It's a jewel for all of East Central Indiana. And one of the things that we wanted to bring back were chances for kids to get out and have school trips and field trips where they could get free education and an open environment.
The Family Education Center is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. For more information, go to muncie.in.gov or you can contact the main office at 765-747-4872.
Many events took place this past weekend, including Muncie's 46th annual Washington Street Festival. This historical festival showcases art, Victorian house tours, live music, and more. This event is held to uphold the history behind the old homes that line up Washington Street. Some people came out to check vendors' clothing, jewelry, handmade art pieces, and more, along with vendor booths. Food trucks were located on the end of the street to finish off the festival experience.
It's the longest running festival. This is our 46th year. And, you know, the word gets out. Everybody's always excited every year. We get questions, when's it happening, you know, what food vendors are going to be there, and entertainers. And, you know, people come here and start buying for Christmas every year because they know that these vendors are going to have something for everyone. We try to make sure that there's a good mixture of everything.
For more information on next year's Old Washington Street Festival, visit oldwashingtonstreetfestival.org.
While the festival took place downtown, here on campus was Family Weekend. Some of the activities for families included a t-shirt sale in the Student Center, a children's fair and bingo, and the tailgate before the football game. The cheer team, the marching band, and the Code Red dance team joined together to get into the game day mindset. The Cardinals took their win at the first home game. Although this Family Weekend might have been the first for some, it was not for this Ball State mom.
This is my second daughter that's come here, so this is many years down the line. I've done this tailgating and Family Weekend for many years, and I love it.
Be sure to check the Ball State website for next year's Family Weekend.
Turning now to a look at our weather, it was a beautiful day across campus. I know me personally, I went on a walk and I had a cup of hot cocoa and it was amazing.
See, a hot cup of cocoa, I mean, that's when you know fall is coming.
Right.
The leaves are changing.
Of course.
It's really, it's in the air, that's for sure.
Let's go to Oliver with our first weather update.
Well, fall might be in the air right now, but as we move throughout this week, it is going to get a little bit warmer. Looking at these current temperatures, though, 53 degrees in Muncie, 65 degrees in Indianapolis, and bouncing around those 50s and 60s throughout most of the state. We did only reach a high of 71 degrees. Now, that is a little bit cooler than what we normally do see. 78 degrees is your normal high for today. But we are going to be getting warmer as we move throughout this week. Looking at what I'm going to be talking about in my full forecast, those summer-like temperatures return, and even though the first day of fall is on Saturday, we are going to be sitting very hot and there's no rain in sight. Again, I'll have all that and more in my full forecast.
There's plenty more to get to on NewsLink Indiana. Just ahead, the United Auto Workers Union is in day 4 of its strike against big auto companies.
Plus, a government shutdown looms as a deal closes on Capitol Hill. What both sides of the aisle are saying next.
I love you!
Prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know. It's about your right to be informed. Today, there are real threats to press freedom and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you. Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Thanks, Oliver, and welcome back. The Unified Auto Workers' historic strike against General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis has entered its 4th day, with still no deal in sight.
Negotiations floundered over the weekend, putting a squeeze on consumers and the economy. Mike Valerio takes a look at where things stand.
Weekend negotiations saw little progress between the United Auto Workers and the big three automakers.
We still have a long way to go.
While the strike remains targeted at one plant for each company, the union warns it could intensify efforts this week if its demands are not met.
We'll see how things progress the next few days, and if we have to amp up pressure, that's what we're going to do.
Top of the list for workers, an immediate 20% raise, followed by 4 additional 5% raises over the 4-year deal. All 3 companies have countered with a 20% raise during the life of the contract with an immediate 10%.
We gave up a lot in 2008 to help Ford out during the recession. We didn't get any raises for 3 contracts. So it's time for us to get something.
Analysts say the U.S. economy is getting bruised, but the strike's impact isn't likely to push the nation into a recession.
It would depend very much on how long the strike lasts and exactly who's affected by it.
The spillover is already impacting non-striking workers, with both GM and Ford announcing temporary layoffs on Friday. Suppliers working with the big three could also face layoffs soon. Impacted states like Michigan will see a decrease in tax revenue, and buying a car could get more expensive.
It's not that we're going to wreck the economy. We're going to wreck their economy, the economy that only works for the billionaire class.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
There's less than 2 weeks for Capitol Hill to try and prevent the government from running out of money and being forced to close its doors. 6 Republican members of the House closed a deal yesterday on a short-term spending plan they hope will prevent a shutdown. Republican sources close to the matter say this agreement has a 31-day continuing resolution that comes with a GOP-approved border security package. But some House conservatives are already giving the idea a thumbs down.
We will do that this week. I gave them an opportunity this weekend to try to work through this, and we'll bring it to the floor, win or lose, and show the American public who's for the Department of Defense.
I do hope that we can avoid a government shutdown. In 2013, when Republicans shut down the government back then, it was very, very costly to millions of Americans.
If House Republicans approve the bill, it will likely be crushed by the Democratic-led Senate, meaning Congress wouldn't be closer to preventing a potential shutdown. 5 Americans who have been imprisoned in Iran have been freed and had landed in Doha, Qatar, before flying to the U.S. later on Monday. They were freed as part of the wider deal that includes the U.S. unfreezing $6 billion in Iranian funds. 3 of those a part of the deal had been in prison for more than 5 years.
For this moment, it's very good to be able to say that our fellow citizens are free after enduring something that I think it would be difficult for any of us to imagine, that their families will soon have them back among them, and that in this moment, at least, I have something very joyful to report.
The release is a diplomatic breakthrough after years of negotiations between the U.S. and Iran.
And we've got to come back to the 80s, and I'm not talking scrunchies and synths. I'm talking temperatures. I'll have all that and more right after the break.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Emotes say a lot, but they can't say it all. Think your guildmate is struggling? Try these dialogue options. Go beyond emotes. Check in with your guildmates at seizetheawkward.org.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
Watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an
to
effort.
get to know each other,
On a deeper level. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor.
actor.
It's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together.
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Assistant Chief Weather Forecaster Oliver Monster here with a look at the week ahead. Starting off with these current temperatures. Now, we were seeing a little bit cooler than what we normally do see today, but currently 53 degrees in Muncie, 65 degrees in Indianapolis, and generally throughout the 50s, maybe popping into those 60s throughout this day. Now, again, today's high was 71 under some cloudy skies, but we are going to be seeing those clear out as we move through tonight. Something big, though, I want to talk about. Tonight is going to be great for bonfires, but it has been abnormally dry here in central Indiana. And even though we did get a little bit of rain over the weekend, we are still the 10th driest September on record. About over an inch less in precipitation than what we normally do see for the month. And we're not expecting too many rainmakers to come into our area as we move throughout this week. Heat, though, is going to increase. But looking at tonight, again, mostly clear, 45 degrees for your low, winds coming calmly out of the north and then switching to the south as you move through tonight. And those southerly winds do continue into tomorrow. Cloud cover increases as well as temperatures, 51 degrees there at 8 a.m. So if you are unfortunate enough to have a class at 8 a.m. like myself, might want to grab a light jacket as you move out. But it does increase to 76 degrees there by 5 p.m. and that's going to be your high for tomorrow. Now, with these temperatures returning to the 70s, it does not feel like fall is just around the corner, but trust me, it is. The equinox is happening on Saturday, 5 days away, so make sure you keep that in your back pocket. And we are expecting a little bit of a cool down, but for the next 6 to 10 days, we are expected to be above average on temperatures according to the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. And we can definitely see that in the temperature trend. What we've got coming up, again, 76 degrees tomorrow. We're increasing all the way up to 85 degrees there on Thursday. Decreasing a little bit as we move into Saturday with another cold front expected to come through as you begin your weekend. So again, we are going to be getting hot, so it might be a good idea to stick to that iced coffee just to keep you a little bit cool down. Over the weekend, we did see a little bit of weather conditions with that cold front moving through, but that did stall over Chicago, causing a little bit of flooding, and then it did bring that rain a later Sunday evening. Again, not enough to get us out of a drought, and not enough to keep us out of those abnormally dry conditions, but enough to cool down the temperature just a little bit. As we look at that 7-day, we are going to be seeing that warm up again. 85 degrees there for your high on Thursday, 60 degrees for your low in between Friday and Saturday. Now that's 15 degrees hotter than what it is going to be tonight. So really a return back to those summer-like temperatures right before the first day of fall there on Saturday. Little bit chance of precipitation there on Monday, 30% chance in the PM, but we do see that dip in temperature. So, pretty warm. Basically, this past week was a fool's fall, is what I like to call it. But we are returning back to those 80-degree temperatures.
Right, and that's kind of disappointing because I was breaking out my sweaters and my hot coffee, and now we're going back to where we were 2 weeks ago. So.
Oh, yeah.
That's Indiana for you.
Thank you, Oliver.
Ball State football in search of their first win of the year, and one Cardinal athlete is flying high. All this and more next in sports.
Here's your sandwich, miss.
Oh, thank you.
And your burger.
Awesome, thank you.
And your bowl of boiling water, sir.
After retiring from the NFL, I've been able to spend a lot more time coaching my daughter's basketball teams. It's something I love to do. Through our games and our tournaments, we see all types of coaching, good and bad. And it begs the question, do we really know who's coaching our kids? Do they have the proper training and screening it would take for me to be comfortable with my daughters playing for that coach? Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to screen and train all of our coaches. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
So if one cat has 4 kittens who reproduce every 6 months, how many cats will there be in 5 years? Who's got it? Is this... What is that? Seriously? Who threw that?
Cats are terrible at math, but they sure do multiply. Please spay, neuter, and adopt.
The solution is 10. Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Dylan Selke with sports. Ball State football takes on the Indiana State Sycamores on Saturday at Schumann Stadium. In front of a crowd over 15,000 people, the Cardinals hit the field for the Battle of the Blue Key Victory Bell, a rivalry that dates back to 1924. The Cardinals would find themselves leading just 10-0 at a halftime. But after the break, it's the running back show as redshirt junior Marquez Cooper rushes for 177 yards on 22 carries and a touchdown. And fellow running back Rico Barfield piles on 2 touchdowns of his own. The defense also comes up big as Tyler Potts intercepts a pass and Keontae Newsome recovers a fumble for a 66-yard scoop and score to further cement the win, the 45-7 win. Head coach Mike New highlights the defense's monster performance after the game.
When those guys did a great job of getting home, and really, they even the plays where they didn't get a sack, they did a good job of pressuring the QB, getting some hits on them. We just got to continue to grow that.
Ball State now looks to their next home matchup with Georgia Southern this Saturday at 2 p.m. To stay on the field, Ball State field hockey goes to battle for the first time on home turf this season at Briner Sports Complex on Sunday. The Cardinals red hot off of 2 straight wins over Lock Haven and Ohio University, but just a 2-4 record on the year. It's a defensive battle from the jump in a scoreless first quarter for both squads. Just moments into the second quarter, senior Michaela Graney breaks to scoring silence for the Cards and finds the back of the net. The Cards lock up on D once again until a score from St. Louis's Brooke Mason early in the fourth to put the Billikens on the scoreboard. Just minutes later, sophomore star Fleur Noppert finds pay dirt. 2-1 would be the final score of the match as the Cardinals improve to 3-4 on the season. Head coach Caitlin Walsh feels that home atmosphere was a key component to the win.
I mean, we were on the road for the first 3 weekends, so that's always a challenge. And then coming back here and having our fans, our families, our friends here, I think it just brought that extra energy and motivation.
Ball State field hockey will be back at home this Friday against Central Michigan at 2 p.m. at the Briner Sports Complex. To switch things over to the trails, in her first season here at Ball State, junior cross-country runner Shelby Chrisman wins her first Student Athlete of the Week award. The junior transfer from Huntington University placed first individually in the Ball State We Fly Challenge with a 5K time of 18 minutes and 21 seconds. Chrisman led the Cards to a top 4 sweep of the meet and looks to keep this performance level for the rest of the year. The runners ran to victory over their competitors at the challenge with a final score of 17. After the recent high of her new Cardinal career, Chrisman shares her goals and aspirations for herself and the squad as they looked across the finish line in their upcoming races.
For the season, I'm hoping that I can be top 15, top 20 at the MAC championship, and hoping that for the team that we can all be higher up than we were last year. Even though I wasn't here, I'm hoping that I can contribute to that.
Chrisman hopes to break her personal best of 17 minutes and 1 second on September 29th at 10 a.m. in the Loyola Lakefront Invitational. And I don't know about you guys, but this weekend was very, very fun. I watched the game for Ball State football, and the running game looked electric.
Absolutely. I mean, we really saw that with the score. I mean, come on. They got their first win, home game.
Right,
Just
and
impressive.
I think for next week, as long as we pack the nest, we'll be great. In just minutes, we take a trip to the past in our NewsLink Indiana vault.
We'll be right back.
I love you.
prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know.
and Clark sheer athleticism.
It's about your right to be informed. Today, there are real threats to press freedom
Reaching residential areas?
and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you. Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just,
Only you can prevent wildfires.
like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
As NewsLink Indiana celebrates 20 years on the air, we're taking a trip to the past with our NewsLink Indiana Vault series.
And in this story from the archives, one Fortville woman proves that her hobby doesn't have an age limit.
It's a child's fantasy toyland, and it excites the hearts and memories of all ages. Thousands of antique and modern toys and dolls stuff the rooms of an old Fortville church, now home to Dolly Mamas.
There's no way you're going to see it all in one day.
Phyllis Baskerville didn't develop a love for dolls until she bought her first one in 1991 at the age of 65. Now, thousands of dolls and toys later, it's hard to find one she doesn't have.
If it's unique, I can hardly control myself.
Baskerville started buying toys 2 days a week for 2 years from antique malls, yard sales, the Goodwill, flea markets, anywhere she could find. Before she knew it, her collection had exploded.
My kids are going to think I'm crazy. So I thought, I'll just open a museum and they'll think, boy, I got a smart mom there.
Baskerville says anyone can probably find something they had when they were a child. I had this baby Minnie Mouse when I was growing up.
I don't charge. If they donate something, why, might help me pay my light bill.
And when the tour guide gets going, her energetic enthusiasm can be likened to a well-trained auctioneer.
Their nature and Mr. Magoo, back there's Rosie O'Donnell.
And she's well known around town.
They don't know my name. They'll say, hi, Dolly. Not to say hi. Everybody calls me Dolly.
A name she loves to live up to. In Fortville, Alyssa Ivinson, NewsLink, Indiana.
And now let's get one final look at weather. Oliver, what do you have for us?
Well, I'll tell you what, some of those dolls do scare me, but these temperatures are also a little bit scary, especially because fall's starting there on Saturday. 85 degrees for your high there on Thursday, 60 degrees for your low between Friday and Saturday. First day of fall, 83 degrees, definitely not going to feel like it. Monday, though, we do see this temperature start to taper off and a little bit of precipitation chances there to begin your week.
That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night at 9, streaming live on the NewsLink Indiana Facebook page.
And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night.